Hello guys and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me Vulcan. Today I have for you Tarsh versus Panzers in round 1 of the first North American tournament. Today we are going to be seeing Sainte-Mère-Église Duellists, and on the Allied side the 1st Infantry, and on the Axis side the 1st SS-Panzer. Now let's talk about these divisions and how they go into this map. So for the 1st Infantry, it's going to be all about the early phases, Phase A and Phase B. You've got the Elite Infantry that you can really make good use of, and also the M4s to accompany them, which should give Tarsh quite an early game advantage. However, on the side of the 1st SS, he does have plenty of Volksdeutsche, which are good for holding the line. Especially against some of the infantry in the mid. If they're held a little bit further back, they can utilise their MG42s in order to try and cut down some of the elite infantry early on. It's not going to be until Phase B, though, that he has the pioneers necessary to try and take the fight, although there are other ways to do that. Of course, you do have the Flampanzer. You can see that he has put one down on the side of Panzers, and there's also mortars. You can get 2-star mortar carriers that can help you win those infantry engagements that you otherwise shouldn't. The other thing to note is the Stugs, of course. The 1st SS doesn't get any tanks in the tank tab in Phase A, but they do get Stugs in the anti-tank tab. So those might be able to be used to counter any M4s that are utilised by Tarsh early on, but it really depends if he even brings them in, because at the moment it doesn't look like that is the case. Let's have a zoom in here and see if we can identify some of these units. So on the top side, it's going to be 2 units of Volksdeutsche. We've got the 222 there with the 2-star veterancy. Then further down, going to be more Volksdeutsche with some command. And it looks like the Flampanzer plus a couple units of Volksdeutsche here, plus some Sturm Pioneers, is going to try and push into the town. The trouble is, Sturm Pioneers I feel don't match up very well against assault teams with their flamethrowers and higher strength squads, so that could be something that Panzers kind of struggles to deal with. Either way, on the side of Tarsh, he is going to be bringing in an assault team to the bottom side. He's also got some assault breaches there. He's got a 6-pounder. There's going to be an MGMC with some Bofors, probably more assault breaches. Then we have an assault team going to the town with the assault leader, plus some assault bazookas, and also another assault unit. For the top side, this could more likely be assault MGs, plus an assault bazooka there. So, interesting start for Tarsh. No armor just yet, but definitely a lot of strong infantry that he can try and utilize throughout the game. So, Pioneer Führer, that could actually be relatively useful to just pop a couple squads with the grenade, but honestly you don't want to lose the Pioneer Führer in a town fight like this, because it could just get quite ugly. But there are the Sturm Pioneers. They're going to unload, hopefully find some decent kills, because it's going to be hard work against 2 assault teams with 12 men in each squad. That's going to be the 222 going down there. The After did manage to jump out, but here we go with the infantry engagement. This Flampanzer honestly could have a very good time in here. The only thing that you would have to be worried about with this Flampanzer is the fact that the assault leaders on the side of the 1st Infantry do have 2 bazookas, so it makes them doubly likely to hit something like a Flampanzer if it gets too close. But where there is no sort of AT, I feel like the Flampanzer should definitely be getting involved here, but a nice hit. The Volksdeutsche do take a grenade from the assault breaches, but the Sturm Pioneer coming in there, taking a lot of men out of that assault team squad. Assault MG is trying to get on top of this 222 with the 50-meter grenades. They can probably take that out. And somebody mentioned in a previous game about the grenades and how they work. Well, basically every unit has 50-meter grenades, every infantry squad, that they can throw at open top vehicles if they come nearby, and that's something that you can utilize to blow them up. It does take a while sometimes, but you can get lucky and just get a one-hit kill. Either way, assault leader there, you can see how it just instantly bazookaed the Flampanzer, although after the Flampanzer did a lot of damage to the assault team. The assault team surviving on the bottom side of the town, though. Assault breachers trying to push up onto the Sturm Pioneers. Looks like the infantry engagement is slowly but surely falling in favour of Tarsh, especially with that Flampanzer going down and these Volksdeutsche being forced to fall back. There is a Panzerjäger Stug that is actually heading towards the town, which is an interesting choice for sure. I don't think the Stug needs to be anywhere near the town, honestly. Could maybe try and make a push with some Volksdeutsche on the top side. Flampanzer is going to be coming in to the town. We can see that the Flampanzer is on its way, and it will be able to do quite a lot of damage as long as this assault leader doesn't get too close. And hopefully Panzers will learn from the mistake he previously made by getting it too close. Obviously he couldn't have known that those assault leaders were there, but you know, you just don't want to make the same mistake twice. 251 is coming in with the IG, and this is one thing that I really like about the first SS, that the fact that these IGs do come in with a half track. I think it can be exceptionally useful for just sort of repositioning the IGs, but also just for getting that little bit extra HE, because like the 7 HE on top of the 9 presented by the IG is just really, really strong at like 800 meter range, so you can start to pin down infantry very, very quickly if it becomes a problem. Anyway, +1 for Tarsh at the moment, and he's doing a good job of maintaining control in this town. Still got 3 grenades left on these assault breaches, and pretty sure these assault breaches have more grenades, or like TNT, than any other infantry squad in the game. So very, very useful for taking on these 100 meter range engagements over and over and over again. Whereas, say for example with the Pioneer squad on the side of Panzers, he's only going to have 2 grenades, so he can only engage like twice safely without removing his advantage. So the assault team's there, going to get on top of the Volksdeutsche, take those out. Nice little quick bounce forwards there, gets out of the way of the Sturm Pioneer. Assault leader is under fire, just needs to get rid of those, and then maybe he can run on through with the Flampanzer. If that assault leader gets pinned down, it's time to go. Like, that's when I would send in this Flampanzer. The thing is, what Panzers doesn't know right now is that there is a new assault bazooka team, which will definitely stop the presence of this Flampanzer in its tracks. There's also an M5A1 that could prove an issue. But on this bottom side, M7DD going to be taking advantage of the 1200 meter range to kill off the IG-18. Nice engagement for the M5A1 onto the 222. The 222 managed to get an internal fragment though, but the last shot from the M5A1 got the kill. So the M5A1 coming out on top there, but kind of left out of action, which will leave room for the Flampanzer to make some ground. But again, assault bazooka is in the way. So now, like I mentioned, the 2-star half tracks with the mortars, they can be very, very good for taking on these infantry engagements. And when usually an infantry engagement would be hard to take, you can swing it in your favour with artillery support. So, for example, if you're going up against the Fallschirmjäger, they have the Fallschirm Pioneers, and those things can be absolutely awful to fight against. But if you just pin them down with a mortar, then you don't really have to fight them. You can just run them down with your own infantry. Oh, look at this off map though. Nice setup here by Tarsh. Stug 3 going to be trying to take out this M7. Got a couple shots on target, but not finding the kill, which is unlucky. But that's 127mm rocket barrage. It's going to be looking to just pin down a lot of these units, and then I'm assuming an approach will be made by the infantry that's left on the side of Tarsh. But he is going to want to bring in some more reinforcements, I feel, if that's going to be successful, because it's just going to be kind of awkward for him to advance, since most of these won't actually be fully pinned, I don't think, by this artillery strike. We'll have to wait and see. I think this is the artillery piece that comes down all at once, so it'll be fun to watch regardless. There we go. That's what we like to see. Left one of the Volksdeutsche completely safe, honestly. But with these Pioneer Fuhrer actually being pinned down, that's a pretty big deal, because now any other units that get pinned have the potential to be surrendered. Fortunately for these Volksdeutsche, there is one nearby that has not been pinned down, so that's going to be saving other Volksdeutsche from being surrendered. But these Sturm Pioneer, they're being engaged at range, and the 3-star assault breaches here are doing the damage. Sturm Pioneers, they need to get into a house and are going to be using their smoke to do so. I think it's very important that they smoke again, honestly, otherwise they're going to be in trouble. Yeah, they're going to find themselves pinned down there. Assault breaches did the job. And that's unfortunate because that could have definitely made the difference. The Sturm Pioneers getting into this building under cover of another smoke grenade would have definitely allowed them to get on top of the assault leader here and also the assault breaches without like dying too much by the assault breaches on the bottom side. Flank Panzer's going to be looking for the attack there though. Panzer's going to be trying to move that up. Nice kill. Sorry, nice kill onto the Ranger leader or the assault leader from this 257 mortar. Flank Panzer going to be taking out the assault breaches. It's good stuff. But now the M5A1 in the town could definitely make things difficult. With a duck being brought in for the side, on the side of Tarsh, he did manage to get that internal fragments sorted out. Reloaded his tank, ready to go. But incoming more off map now. And things could get difficult for Panzers. It doesn't look like he's reinforcing that much infantry, but that might just be because a lot of infantry has already died. At this rate though, more Volksdeutsche going to be running into the fire, as another rocket barrage is likely to come down. It's hard to tell really whether or not you should push back into the town, especially once you've seen one rocket strike, for example, because you know there's going to be a second, and a third. So do you run into it or do you not? I mean, in this case, I guess it's fine because the rocket strike kind of isn't as effective as other off-map can be. So a 356mm off-map, for example, would do a hella more damage and pin down pretty much everything. But an interesting point here is that Tarsh has chosen to bring in this A-20C recon aircraft, and that will be able to give him line of sight onto all of the units on the far side of the town. Now it looks like the Focke-Wulf 190A8 was brought in to try and shoot that down, but Tarsh is falling back behind his AA, and the Bofors managing to fall it back. So Focke-Wulf out of the sky, A-20C gets to continue its domination. Off map coming in another time, and well, this Panzerjägerstück nearly getting a kill onto the MGMC. I feel like Panzers has been pretty unlucky with these Panzerjäger engagements. He should have had a kill onto this M7, I feel, and also that M16 there. That was very close, and that was 2-star veterancy, so yeah, pretty unlucky that didn't just get one shot. But either way, Tarsh doing a good job here, keeping up the pressure with these off-map strikes, slowly making his way forwards. And if he can get an assault bazooka team into the right position, then all of these vehicles that will, or maybe be pinned down, they can be like approached upon and then sort of killed. So nice off map again. Gonna pin down the Pioneer Führer, pin down the Volksdeutsche. M5A1's gonna try and approach to do some damage, but the Stück, well, that's perfectly okay. Didn't really get affected by the off map. Now there's a Panzerjägerstück on this bottom side as well, but the 6-pounder or M1 gun, that's going to be kind of just keeping things at bay down here. IG-18 has the potential to open up onto it though if the Stück wanted to make a push, so interesting that he hasn't so far. And well, seeing another off-map strike coming down, it reminds me that the 127mm rocket does actually have 5 strikes available, not just 3. So there we go, more strikes on the way. Now it looks like Tarsh did lose his command here, which is a bit careless of him. The assault leader did go down, so all of his units are kind of in a position where they can be surrendered, but still doing plenty of damage. So Volksdeutsche, one of the squads went down in the forest. This Pioneer is still pinned. Volksdeutsche in the town. They're exchanging fire quite nicely, but here comes the off map again. Against vehicles, it's just not that great, but against the infantry, at least it is pinning them. Oh, this time around, Stück 3 going to get the kill onto the M7. Nicely done. This IG though, it needs to open up. Gonna start firing at these assault breaches. I thought it could probably see the M1 gun, but it could actually see the infantry due to the Aufkläder. Anyway, this could easily be sorted with an airstrike or just like a P-38 strafing run. But, oh, this isn't good for Tarsh. Going to be losing this A-20C to the Focke-Wulf 190. There goes his recon. And it's a simple counter, just like that. In 1v1, it's actually quite hard to deal with. Because the A-20C is like so easy to be shot down. But here we go. IG going to be fire positioning onto the 6-pounder. Panzers, I guess, just knows it's there unless he could have seen it previously, but it fell back. Let's go into his perspective. Oh, he can actually see it entirely. So why is he firing just short of that? Oh, maybe it's because he's out of range and he doesn't want to move out of the tree line. I get it. Right, anyway, moving back to the town, we can see that the assault bazookas do get a weapon jam onto the Flampanzer, which is massive, honestly. However, with the 257 running out of mortar shots, there is an excuse for Panzers to bring in an Opel Blitz, so this Flampanzer could get fixed up. It's just awkward because it delays the push on towards Tarsh, where currently he's looking pretty weak. I mean, there's one assault team on 2 men, assault breaches on 2 men. There is like the assault team and assault breaches back here which have some serious amount of men left, but this could be a potential push through for Panzers if he wants to utilize his pioneers in Phase B, which he definitely does have. But a Panther G is going to be on the way, and well, with the Panthers coming onto the field, this is where you would expect to start focusing on the open, because you don't want to send your Panther G really into a town. So the Panther G is going to be heading down to this bottom side, supported by 2 Gepards. He doesn't want to get it pinned by enemy airstrikes. So yeah, I don't know. I think Panzers has a decent idea here. You know, just taking the focus of this map off the town and going around it would be much better. Because trying to take back a town after the 20-minute mark can often be a very time-consuming process that doesn't really pay off. So, like, trying to find another more mobile way to make ground is definitely preferable, and it's something that Panzers is going to be trying to do here. But an M5 gun is going to stand in his way. Going to maybe kill off his half-track there, but the Panther G, I think it can probably go toe-to-toe with an M5 gun and come out on top. I guess it could really use just the 257 coming in with some smoke and then just mortaring past the smoke. That might be a way to take it out, rather than risking engaging the Panther G straight up. I don't know. One thing that is important to note, though, is that the Panther G, of course, has 14 front armor versus the 14 AP of an M5 gun. So if an M5 gun does engage at close range, there's no real reason why the Panther G should die. And that's something that Panzers may be able to take advantage of in this case. Panther G, however, going to be firing at these rifles, and the rifles just shrugging it off. Well, not that case, because 2 men go down, but the Aufkläder are being ran upon, and if the Aufkläder do get found, that could be quite awkward for Panzers, honestly, since he'll lose a lot of the sight he has onto these units. Panzer's going to be trying to rely on the LEFH-18M to pin that M5 gun. He can see it, I believe, due to his Aufkläder. So he has straight up line of sight onto that. But now, in Phase B at the moment, we will want to see more pioneers maybe contesting the town for the time being. But moving into Phase C, I think just use any more Volksdeutsche that he has access to just kind of surround the town, and then, you know, focus on this bottom side push that he's setting up. Panzerjägerstück is going to reveal the M1 gun. M1 gun going to have plenty of shots on target, something that Panzer's going to have to be very, very careful of. Needs to get his LEFH on target there, ASAP. 251 joining this armoured push is quite a nice idea, as it will help deal with a lot of the infantry that Tarsh will have in his way. But look at this off-map. This is very, very nice indeed. A very concentrated strike here onto these units. Depending on the caliber of the rounds, though, it might not be too effective. So it is going to force back these half-tracks. Only direct hits are really going to affect the tanks. And I mean, there is a few happening. You can see the Panther G is going to be forced back. The Puma does go down. So Tarsh successfully holds Panzers at bay with his off-map. That is very, very smart of Tarsh, and nicely done. Also getting the Puma killed there takes away the recon that was going to be utilised to push forwards with those vehicles. LEFH finally targeting the M1 gun. Might be nice to do that a little sooner, because then the Puma might not have gone down. That off-map is certainly awkward, that's for sure. Surprised these Pioneers haven't found themselves pinned down yet. Look at them dodging all of those rockets. 356mm off-map is on the field for Tarsh. That's going to have a much bigger bang than this current off-map that is down. Can the LAFH find the kill onto this 6-pounder? It will probably make Panzers a lot more confident in making this push. He's got to find the push at some point. Otherwise, he is going to be left at this +1 for the rest of the game. And currently, Tarsh is counting up to 1,035 points. So, in a pretty strong position, Panther G going to be taking on these assault breaches. Might be able to kill them off. Does have 9 HE rounds left, so might be able to find that kill. But more than that, we'll probably want to kill the M4 and the M5 gun. But yeah, Volksdeutsche here in a really nice position. Going to be engaging these assault MGs, since these Volksdeutsche have the 2 MG42s. They're very good in this sort of defensive position. Also with a Panzer IV-J on the way, it may be able to stop the fire support that Tarsh is providing with the M5A1, because currently Tarsh is building up quite strong on this top side. He's got M3A1 half-tracks covering his advance, which have the 50 cals. And then he's got the M5A1s following up as well. He's going to be bringing in 2 recon M8s on top of that. So Panzers is going to have to be pretty careful, since the majority of his heavy armor is now focused on this bottom side. There is the Panzer IV-J and the Panzer Jägerstück, but I'm not sure if the Panzer IV-J as a medium tank can really deal with the M5A1 at close range, if that's allowed to happen. Yes, it can kill at long range, but at short range the Panzer IV-J has a hand crank turret, so it takes ages to aim. Now the Stug 3, if it can find the kill onto this M5A1, might give Panzers a little bit of respite, allow his Volksdeutsche to get back into position. But we can see this is now turned into a +2, as Tarsh is pretty much controlling past the 50-50 across the entire map, which is very, very nice. The LEFH here going to be looking for the kill onto the Bofors, but those LEFHs, they certainly seem to be inaccurate a lot of the time. Panzer IV-J did manage to get a shot off onto the M5A1. This M5A1 should probably not be engaging from that range, and probably wants to be a lot closer. Same for these M8s. You don't want to stop them on the road there. Just get up in the face of the Panzer IV-J, and that's how you win that one. And the transmission damage, that is going to be annoying for the M5A1 from here on out, unless it gets fixed up. But a nice ammo storage hit there by the M8s onto the Panzer IV. Trouble is, they're struggling to penetrate. 7 AP versus 8 front armor. Of course, they are close to the 1,000 meter range, so that is amplified, but Panzer IV-J still not going down. The Ju-188 here comes in with the 2 1,000 kilogram bombs, takes out both of the M8 recons, but gets shot down by a 2-star Lightning. This Focke-Wulf, oh, that's going to come under a lot of fire. That's a CGMC with a Bofors and an MGMC getting shots on, and that Focke-Wulf 190 took a hell of a beating. Not sure if the P-38 Lightning is going to get onto the back of that, though, especially with a second Focke-Wulf coming in. Wow. So the M8 push was countered, but this Panther G now kind of just sitting here, not doing too much, when it should otherwise be trying to push, especially with the recon information that this Aufklärer is providing. And if it's not providing the information you need, then you just need more recon, right? And then you just want to continue to push with these units, because that's a lot of points invested down here that isn't really doing too much at the moment. He's just trying to counteract Tarsh's push on the top side, which is a very bad thing to do, because you'll never have the initiative if you're constantly reacting to what the other player is doing. Of course, if the player is covering the map, the entire map quite well, it can be difficult, and in this case Tarsh is doing so. This M5 gun certainly causing issues, but I think the Panther G should just be able to take on that frontally, which is makes me wonder why it hasn't happened yet. Either way, M8 is going to pop a unit through the tree line there. It might have been the M5 gun that made that one happen. But either way, Panzers has got to figure out what he wants to do. He's got two Panzer IVJs in this top side with the Panzerjägerstug, so there's a potential to maybe try and kill off the M5A1, the M8, get some recon onto the M5, and then sort of just push through on the top side. Or he can go to the bottom side, or on top of all of that, could just do both. And he's got to do it sooner than later, because this +2 isn't going anywhere. You can't really afford to not try and do anything when you're behind, regardless of whether it's successful or not. Like, you may as well be doing something, otherwise you're just waiting to lose. But Panzer IVJ going to be looking for that engagement with the M5A1. M5A1 is not pinned down at all, but the Panzer IVJ, if it has time to aim, then it is going to get the kill, and certainly does so. M5A1 does go down. 2-star veterancy, not letting these Panzer IVJs down. Assault Bazooka team is on the way forwards though. This is in a pretty scary position actually for Panzers. He doesn't have any recon to see this coming. Now these Assault Bazookas, they're not even like normal bazooka squads. They don't have very good stealth. They only have good stealth, which is basically the same as any other infantry. So if there's a single recon here, it should see it coming. But in this case, Assault Bazooka is able to get close because the recon did die up here previously. But that is a very, very nice kill there for the M5 gun. Takes out one of the Panzer IVJs, and that certainly slows the effectiveness of Panzer's forces. M4A1 here going to be looking for the engagement onto the 232 after it gets hit by off-map. Takes it down. Off-map is going to continue to come in. That is a barrage provided by the M20 OP. LEFH now going to be trying to take out the M5 gun. We can see some Volksdeutsche getting surrendered to these rifles. This LEFH actually on the bottom side did manage to kill off the Bofors, but I'm not sure Panzers is aware of that since his LEFH is still firing. This LEFH, that's looking for the kill onto the M5 gun, but probably not going to find it anytime soon. Nice pickup there by Panzers after he unloaded the Pioneers to try and get them out of trouble, but just driving into the orchard would be a better idea than pushing into the faces of an M4, because that's going to force your Pioneers to unload anyway. Maybe Panzers was relying on this smoke to kind of cover the M4s, but it didn't quite land in the position he would have liked it to. So both of those half-tracks are going to be going down. Assault Bazooka almost takes out the 257, but it looks like the tank on the bottom side here saves the day. Stug 3 is crew wounded and shooter knocked out. Stug 3 on the top side gets bailed out as the M5 gun pushes up. This is not looking good for Panzers. He's just kind of waited and waited, and now Tarsh kind of took advantage of the space that he had to move up and get into really awkward positions. And yeah, there goes the 257. Panzerjägerstug goes down on the top side. With every minute that passes, Tarsh is just making it harder and harder for Panzers to make a comeback. And I think, especially considering the 1st Infantry isn't that strong in the later phases, it's very impressive to see. But Assault Bazooka get close to this Panzer IV-J. That goes down. Volksdeutsche, they have revealed themselves firing at the Assault Bazooka. But the Assault Bazooka just going to run back. M3A1 half-track can then engage. Although the Volksdeutsche at 150 meter range might be able to get a Panzerfaust off. It really does depend. Either way, those Pioneers, they're going to be pinned. Salient does open up on this top side, and we're looking towards a 65% territory lead soon. That will introduce, I think, a +3. And then Panzers is really in trouble. Maybe he can counteract that with the Panzer IV-J. But for the time being, it's not looking good. Volksdeutsche being pinned on this top side does leave them vulnerable to surrender since there's no command nearby. Ju-87 was brought in to try and deal with that half-track and stop the salient, but with a P-38 Lightning on the way and no real AA on this top side, that is a very dead Ju-87. And the Lightning almost goes down to the double Focke-Wulf 190 in one pass, but not quite. And well, this Focke-Wulf 190 is going to want to leave the area because that AA is just not good. Yeah, there we go. Focke-Wulf gets pinned. It's going to come under fire from a lot of AA. Tarsh not going to be able to shoot it down, however, unless this P-38 can turn in time and maybe get on its tail. That would be a nasty kill for Tarsh to get, but no, this time around Focke-Wulf gets out once again. P-38 Lightning does come in with the rocket strike. Not entirely sure what that fired at, but either way, on the bottom side, the Panther G comes under fire from off-map. That actually ended up killing a half-track here, but yeah, the Panther G being forced to fall back. M4s are trying to get involved now. M5 gun does have line of sight onto the Panther G, so that's going to be a kill that we might see. One of the Gepards is in trouble as well. Might take the fire for the Panther G since it's not pinned down, but the Panther G is, and the Panzerjägerstück going to come forwards to try and stop this advance of M4s. But the build-up from Tarsh has just been happening for so long now, and with so many M4s being aggressive like this, especially with the support of the off-map, they can do a lot of damage. And the Panzer IV-J, they're just getting wrecked at close range. Panzerjägerstück does get its shooter wounded. Now the Panther G and Stug 3 falling back on this bottom side. Panzer IV-J though, that is maybe going to be able to get a kill onto one of these two M4s, unless the M5 or the M8, sorry, comes in as a distraction. Nice job by there, Tarsh, to just kind of take the aim away from these M4s in favor of an M8, because if he can, you know, keep the M8 or the M4s alive instead of the M8s, then that's great. But Pioneers there going to be surrendering the M4DD. So that's a decent pickup, but this is still a +3 in favour of Tarsh. Panzer IV-J picking up an AA piece, but this is just not looking good for Panzers. And after that, I feel like there's not much time to come back, and Panzers is going to surrender after the 30 minutes and 52 seconds. So, well played by Tarsh. Really, really good job, actually. Kept up the pressure throughout the entire game. Didn't make as much ground as I thought he would in Phase A using M4s, but brought them in later on and certainly packed the punch with those on top of the off-map. Nice use of off-map, honestly, with this game. Panzers, I felt he kind of just didn't figure out a way to push soon enough and allowed Tarsh time to kind of build up his own forces, which in the end just left it at a stalemate the whole time. And then sort of Tarsh got his M5 guns into position, started picking off units. The assault bazookas were able to just run all the way forwards and find bazooka kills onto units that were sitting idle. It just yeah, got a bit ugly there towards the end for Panzers. But either way, nice attempt. But Tarsh, congratulations to him, moves on to round 2. And Panzer's going to be pushed down to the lower bracket, but we won't be seeing those games, since it does not affect the final game. Kills, you can see this off-map actually doing a relatively nice job. Didn't really pay itself off, but some good kills there, and you can notice its suppression. The M5 gun though, this thing did work. Panzer IV-J, Panzerjäger Stug 3, Befehl Stug 3. This is only 100 points, and that's picked up over 300 or even 400 points worth of units. So fantastic job. M4A1 again, 130 points. Going to be taken out of Stug, which is like 100 points plus the half tracks and the 232s. So it's always where you got to look for your units. Do they pay themselves off? And for example, an assault bazooka taken out Panzer IV-J does so multiple times over. So it makes the difference. And the assault leader in the town, well, that certainly did a fantastic job of holding back this Flampanzer, because if that wasn't there, then the Flampanzer could have ran all over that town, because there was no assault bazookas bought early on. So maybe Panzers could have focused the assault leader and made sure it was pinned down before he went in, but the first time round he didn't know it was there, so that's fine. Second time round I think he did kill the assault leader, but then the assault bazooka turned up, right? So Tarsh just coming in with his own plays to counteract what Panzers was doing, and that's why Panzers, or Tarsh, sorry, came out on top in that town engagement. These flying Panzers weren't useless though, they did find some nice kills here and there. Panther G though didn't really do its job, kind of left in the open after its initial engagements with the infantry using its HE, but yeah, struggled to find the engagement with the M5 gun, which kind of needed to happen to open up the path for the rest of his units. But then that really nice timed off map coming from Tarsh, and not too much Panzers can do about that. Maybe just try and make the push happen a bit sooner, or maybe just like spread out the troops a bit more. But again, you don't know it's coming until it hits you, especially if the M20 OP has been out of line of sight for the majority of the game. This Panzer IV-J though did a nice job onto the M4DD and the M16, but that's where I'm going to leave it. Congratulations to Tarsh once again. Panzers didn't surrender in the end. Tarsh just hit the points cap. That's what happened. So yeah, just correcting myself there. But either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.